Well, good morning, my friends. Happy Friday. I hope you've had a great week. I want to continue our discussion today on our 90-day commitment to good health. And there are a few things that I want to share with you. First of all, notice that we're calling it 90-day commitment to good health. We haven't specified what type of health. You know, from my personal example, that I have set the goal for good physical health, and I have shared with you my specific commitments as a part of that challenge. But you may have selected a commitment to good personal health, to good professional health, to good financial health, to good family health. So health is a very broad term, and you can narrow that commitment based on your goals, needs, desires, priorities, and phase of life right now. And that is perfectly fantastic. You know, we can be accountability partners, power partners, iron that sharpens iron for one another without having the exact same goals in life. And that's okay. And the second thing that I want to share with you is refining our commitment and really drilling in and digging deeper as we continue through the challenge. So the first thing that we need to do is give ourselves permission to be imperfect and to give ourselves permission to recommit at any stage of the game. In fact, we can and we are going to need to recommit multiple times throughout the challenge, if not multiple times throughout each and every day. And that's okay. Remember, we're not in the pursuit of perfection. That's just a Lexus commercial that's going to set us up for major frustration in real life. Okay, what we are is we are in the pursuit of excellence. And remember, excellence is the opposite of mediocrity. So we are making a daily, ongoing commitment and recommitment to rise above, to wage war on mediocrity, literally, to battle it out if necessary in a daily, ongoing pursuit of excellence. So some days are going to be better than others. Why? Because it's just human nature. It's life, okay? We've been talking about this a lot. You can start a diet in the middle of a bag of potato chips. You can even recommit to that diet in the middle of a bag of potato chips. So, you know, we said we're wrapping up our second week in this commitment. Maybe the first 2 weeks have been fantastic for you. Maybe they've been mediocre for you, and maybe they've been just flat out terrible. Maybe you set the commitment and then you immediately got lazy or got distracted or changed your mind or gave up. Or maybe you set the commitment and you've been okay, but you haven't been totally proud of and totally pleased with yourself. Still okay. Maybe you've set the commitment and you've really been trying your best. You're not 100% satisfied, but you're doing an okay job. Whichever category you fall into, great. Perfect. Wonderful. So let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Let's say that you are just flat out disappointed with yourself, like disgusted with yourself for the way that you have approached these first 2 weeks. Or maybe you just had so little belief and faith in yourself that you didn't even bother to commit. You didn't even bother to try. It's not too late. You can join us today, or you can recommit today, and you can say, you know what? These first couple of weeks have been a mental battle for me, and I have had to do brain surgery, a lobotomy on myself, a brain wash. My brain was dirty. It needed a good scrubbing, and now I am ready to make the commitment, or I'm ready to recommit. So maybe for you, you're starting fresh, you're starting over today. Okay, for me, let me share with you, I think I'm in the middle category. I've done okay. I've had some great days, and I've had some days where I got distracted or I allowed my own excuses to interfere with my definition of true excellence. So rather than just get angry and disappointed and frustrated and completely throw my commitment out the window, I'm making the decision to continue to refine my commitment and to continue to refine my goal. Now, along with this thought process, I want to introduce a new concept, or digging deeper into an existing concept. Okay, you've heard me say a gazillion times that it can be challenging to hit a moving target, but is darn near impossible to hit an invisible one. Okay, so what is an invisible target? It means we haven't stated clearly exactly what it is that we're looking for. We haven't identified the bullseye where we've just got whoosh, laser focus of exactly what it is that we're trying to achieve and we're trying to accomplish. It's not too late. You know, we may have started, let's say, for example, that we're starting off in Phoenix, where I am, and we are headed to Manhattan. Okay? I know that starting off, generally, I want to head in the northeast direction. Okay? At some point along that journey, I'm going to have to get more specific on the route, on the map, on the path that I am taking. So even though I could start out with a general vague idea and it's going to lead me off in the right direction, I am going to need to get more specific along the way to end up at my specific desired result. The exact same thing can happen with your goals. So how clear are you in your goals? I want to share with you, in fact, I'm going to post a link on my Facebook page today about a Harvard study that was done back in 1979, and then they went back and they reevaluated the same students, the same graduates in the study 10 years later. And the way the study goes is that 87% of these Harvard MBA graduates had zero goals whatsoever. Okay? I'm sorry, 84%. 13% had goals, but they weren't written down. And then 3% had clearly defined, written out goals when they graduated from the MBA program. All right? Now, 10 years later, they were reassessed. And when they went back and revisited these grads, the 13% who had goals had done, I think, double what the 87% without goals had done. And then the 3% who had clearly written down goals had accomplished 10 times more than the other 97% combined. So guys, if you haven't really internalized yet the power of clearly articulating and writing down your goals, now is the time to do it. And just to drive this point home, when you read the bottom of the study that I'm going to attach to my Facebook page, you're going to see that the publisher of this article, he was talking to a buddy that said he had way too many goals to write down, and this is why he hadn't taken the time to write them down, because he didn't have time to write them all down. And the publisher said, dude, if you don't even have time to write down your goals, where on earth are you going to find time to actually accomplish these goals? Hello. Okay, that is an absolute powerful reminder for all of us. And then the last thing that I want to share, because we are e-power partners, we're accountability partners to each other, not only do we need to get crystal clear on what these goals are, we need to write them down as a measure of holding ourselves accountable. You know, the strongest point of accountability is sharing these goals with other people. How many other people in your life are aware of the goal that you've set? Y'all, I gotta be honest with you, just the shame of having to publicly admit failure, that right there will take your commitment to a whole new level. I know this is so powerful in my own life. When I don't tell, like publicly mass announce, like with the blowhorn, megaphone, shouting it from the rooftops. You know, I was once taught that the UPS guy, when he shows up to your house to make a delivery, he should know your goal. Your kids should know your goal. Your family should know your goal. Your best friends, your colleagues should know your goal, because you have hung up signs everywhere, all over your house. You have told everyone your goal, because then it's not only is it in front of your face all the time, but you don't want to have to publicly admit failure, okay? And again, for me, this is so powerful. I know in my own life, the times that I haven't sent out like an APB, that I have set a new commitment and a new massive goal for my life, it's almost as if the goal doesn't exist. Just thinking it to myself, I'm not strong enough in my own flesh and in my own resolve to keep these commitments. But when I make a public declaration to my team, to my family, to my friends, to my organization, to my mentors, to my colleagues, to my competition, when I make a public declaration, y'all, I would rather be buried alive with roaches crawling all over me than to have to say, oh, I didn't keep my word. I didn't keep my commitment. So not only do we need to recommit today, we need to get crystal clear on exactly what it is that we want. We need to write that goal down, and then we need to share it with everyone. And next week, we're going to spend some time on how to become more specific in our goals and how to write them down and blast them all over the place that they're constantly in our face. We're going to dig deeper into those things next week. But your challenge and your mission for this weekend, should you choose to accept it, is to really evaluate and assess yourself. How far have you gone into this commitment, and what can you do this weekend to continue to refine your own process and take yourself to a whole new level. Love you guys. Have an awesome, amazing weekend, and we will be back together next week. Bye for now, everyone.